lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. So as you can see from the title of today's video, we're going to be reacting to People by Agust D. I honestly have been really enjoying listening to more of some of the BTS solo songs, and I thought today we'd check out another Agust D song. I honestly have really loved what I've heard from him so far, so I'm super excited to get into this one and see what I can expect. But before we do, if you guys are new to the channel, then welcome and thank you for joining in. Make sure you click on that subscribe button down below to stay up to date with what I post on this channel. And while you're at it, why not leave a little like on this video as well? It really does help me to see what you're enjoying watching so I can keep on making more videos like this. But with all that being said, I just can't wait to get into this video, so let's do it. Ooh. Already. I'm loving this intro.
Yeah. 산들바람 스쳐가는 사람 스며드는 사람 나는 어떤 사람 나는 좋은 사람 아님 나쁜 사람 평가는 가지각색 그냥 나도 사람.
I already, again, I've said this before and I'll say it again, but when it comes to Agust D, you always know that you can expect such truth and realness and just openness within his lyrics. And I think him just saying, am I a good person, am I a bad person, I'm just a human being, like that sense of reflection, reflecting on yourself, reflecting on who you are, and just saying whether I've got good, whether I've got bad, whether I'm a mixture of both, ultimately I'm just human. I'm just like everybody else. You know, we're all just living each day as we can and just being the people that we can be, you know. And some of us are going to have those flaws within us. Some of us are going to, you know, maybe have that sense of good, that sense of bad, but ultimately we are just all humans. We're all just that sense of humankind, you know. I already know this is going to be so incredibly deep and impactful because I've said this before, but Agust D is one of like my favorites to react to on this channel because I just love the way that he really utilizes and speaks through his music, just that sense of real vulnerability and just truth, you know, and heart. And I think that is just what we're going to be getting from this song as well.
평가는 가지각색 그냥 나도 사람. 다들 살아가겠지 다들 사랑하겠지 다들 바래가겠지
Oh, that's powerful. Everybody's gonna love you, everybody's gonna want you and forget you. Oh, that is deep. That is deep. That's getting me teary already. Oh my gosh. I just think for me that feeling of like, you know, in life as well, 1 minute something can seem one way and it can change so quickly. You know, somebody's opinion of you, somebody's thought of you, it can change so quickly. 1 minute they could love you, and 1 minute they could just forget all about you. And I think that is just, again, that cycle of life, that cycle of relationships, and that cycle of humankind, you know. Everybody's life moves on, and sometimes that means that it doesn't necessarily move along with yours. And I think just that feeling of, you know, knowing that you're not going to be everybody's cup of tea, not everybody's going to necessarily like you or love you or, you know, want you. But even so, life just continues to go on. It's just so reflective, I feel like, this song. It's just really, like, almost like opening your eyes to see the realities of life in a way, you know?
다들 사랑하겠지 다들 바래가겠지 입시가 됐지 사람들은 변하지 나도 변했듯이 세상살이 영원한 건 없어 다 지나가는 해프닝 Why so serious? Why so serious? Why so serious?
I love this song. I absolutely love this song. Him just saying, everybody changes. I've changed. Nothing is eternal in this life. That is so incredibly true. And like, I don't know why that has hit me so much, but I think that, you know, we always have that sense of, in life, people talking about, oh, you know, I'll love you for eternity, or, you know, saying that the world is almost like eternal in a sense. You know, people always talk about that feeling of the circle of life always being that eternal thing, but it's like, actually, nothing's eternal in this life. You know, people aren't eternal. Feelings aren't eternal. There is nothing really within this world that has that sense of true eternity, because everything changes, everything is susceptible to change. People, feelings, emotions, life itself. He's really just like flipped a switch in my mind with that in a way that I can't quite explain.
So serious? Why so serious? Why so serious? I'm so serious. I'm so serious.
His voice is gorgeous. What's wrong with living like that? What's wrong with sometimes, having those moments where it does just feel like everything sort of hurts and is painful? I think that is just a reality as well, isn't it? It's just life's not always rosy. Sometimes I think that, especially within things like the media, it's often portrayed that, life is almost like a bundle of roses and everything is peachy and happy. But it's like ultimately, I feel like we're so influenced by that sometimes that when we have those real feelings and those emotions, when we feel sad or when we feel hurt, when we feel pain, it's like, but that's not what we should be feeling. But ultimately, we are human. We should be able to feel what we feel, whether that's happiness and joy or whether that's sadness and sorrow. I think people's feelings are valid. I think those feelings within ourselves are valid as well. But sometimes it feels like often that gets pushed to a side because of the sort of time that we live in now and the way in which we live. And I think a lot of people tend to sort of, brush over the fact of that sense of people's feelings sometimes not necessarily being heard. And I think in this song, him just saying, like, what's wrong with feeling? What's wrong with having those emotions? There's nothing wrong with that. It just means that I'm human. It means that I'm, feeling something, which is what we're all meant to do. It's what we're all meant to feel. I just think he is such an incredible creative mind. Like, I can't quite describe it, but I feel like every time I hear one of his songs, it really just leaves such like an impression with me. And like it's as if he, with his like lyrics and just the way he writes and the way he thinks and the way that comes across, it just really alters my view on so many things. And like it really allows me to really hear those like true messages of life and reality and what it is to be living, especially in this day and age. I feel like there's just something about Agust D's music that really connects with me in a different way, and I can't explain it, but it just like hits incredibly deeply, I feel like.
물이 흘러가는 대로 흘러가 저기 끝이 뭐가 있을지도 특별한 삶 평범한 삶 그 나름대로 좋은 게 좋은 거지 뭐 좋은 게 좋은 거지 뜻대로만 되지 않지 불편한 다들 감수하지 극적인 상황들의 반복은 삶을 지치게도 해서
that as well, like it didn't happen in the way that you thought something would happen. So the repercussions of that is sometimes, when things don't go our way, I feel like sometimes we do have that tendency to take it out on people around us. But it's like he's saying, those sorts of things, if things don't go your way or, if things don't necessarily pan out in the way you thought they would, or sometimes it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, what is the point in almost taking that out on yourself and other people? Because it's just going to end up only causing you pain and exhaustion and tiredness. And it's like, that's no way to live. But just appreciate what you have got. There's no such thing as living the best of lives and, living an ordinary life. We're just living life. We're all on this journey together. And even though our lives all look different, it doesn't make them any more special than anybody else's, just because sometimes we see all of these grandeurs of life, whether that's through media or whatever it may be, that shouldn't downplay the beauty that you have within your own life and the things that you're grateful for. because those things have just as much meaning as all of these grandeurs that you see in the media and all of these things that you see from other people's lives. Comparison is just that thief of joy in a sense, because always comparing your life and the way that you live to other people, it just only downplays how much love and light you have in your own life, you know? This song is so powerful. It's so powerful.
불편은 다들 감수하지 극적인 상황들의 반복은 삶을 지치게도 해 사람들이 그런 거지 없으면 있고 싶기도 있으면 없고 싶기도 누가 사람이지 동물이라 했나 내가 보기에는 후회의 동물이 분명한데 사람들은 변하지 너도 변했듯이 세상살이 영원한 건
I love this song so much. I know I keep on saying it, but I'll keep on saying it. I will. You know, talking about living with those regrets, having those feelings of, you know, things that maybe you didn't do or the path you didn't take. But ultimately, him just saying, like, you can live with those regrets and you can almost have that sense of sorrow in that. Or you can also change, you know? Like, we all have that ability to change in life. We all have that ability to take control over certain situations. And I think him just saying it's all about how we choose to live, you know? We can't always constantly think of these situations as roadblocks because ultimately we have the ability to push through all of it. I just think he makes you view life in such a different way, doesn't he, through his music? It just, every time, it just like resonates so much and leaves such an impact. I can't wait to listen to more of his music because I know I've still got so many songs of his that I need to react to because they're so in depth and powerful, but this one really is just absolutely incredible.
사람들은 변하지 너도 변했듯이 세상살이 영원한 건 없었다 지나가는 해프닝 너의 평범함은 되려 나의 특별함 너의 특별함은 되려 나의 평범함 나의 평범함은 되려 너의 특별함 나의 특별함은 되려 너의 평범함
That is so incredible. Like, that whole moment there where we were in that loop almost of just saying like about that mediocrity almost being a specialty in a sense. Sometimes maybe we don't necessarily think of ourselves as being special. Maybe we don't necessarily think of ourselves as being unique and different and having much meaning, you know? But ultimately, sometimes it's those moments where you feel like that and sometimes the people who feel like that, who have got that specialty, who have got that, you know, real beauty about them. And it's just finding the beauty within what feels like that.
나의 특별함은 되려 너의 평범함
His voice is gorgeous. On saying it, but when it comes to Agust D, his songs are always so thought-provoking, so incredibly inspiring, and just absolutely phenomenal. With this song, I just loved that sense of him just saying, you know, life is only sort of like a matter of perspective, and you can live life in whichever way you choose to live, and you can view life in whichever way you choose to view it, but ultimately it all just depends on you as an individual, you know, whether you choose to live your life in the way you want to or not, whether you choose to look at other people's lives and envy that or not, you know, ultimately it's all down to you. You have the ability to be who you want to be and to change, and people and humans continue to grow, they continue to develop, you know, and that means that things will in time change within them, you know, whether that means emotionally or physically or within their life. There are going to be those changes, people are going to evolve, but ultimately it's just finding peace within that and knowing that, like he said, nothing in this life is eternal. that is going to stick with me as well. That sense of like nothing in this world is eternal just hits so hard, doesn't it? I think just again that sense of not taking anything for granted because life can be so short, not taking those moments for granted, not taking people for granted, and just realizing that, you know, the difficulties of life are just as important as the good within life, you know, and it's how you work through all of that and how you come out on the other side of that that really shapes you as a person. And I think that him just saying it's okay to go through all of these emotions and to go through all of these feelings and to sometimes have that sorrow and sadness, but ultimately always try on the other side of that to know that life is so short. So don't always dwell and hold on to that, you know, because you never know what tomorrow brings. I just think this song is absolutely so empowering, so powerful, so beautiful. And I just honestly am loving hearing more from Agust D. So let me know what other songs I should be reacting to of his down below. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed watching along this video with me. If you did, like I said, make sure you're clicking that subscribe button down below to stay up to date with what I post on this channel. And while you're at it, why not leave a little like on this video as well? It really does help me to see what you're enjoying watching so I can keep on making more videos like this. But with all that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day and I will see you in the next video.